Hello everyone, this is Economic Forum. My name is Farai Mwakutuya. Today my guest is the Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Manicaland Province, Mr. Abiot Maronge. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Perhaps to get our show started, could you give us an overview of Manicaland Province? What are the key highlights and things to look out for there?
Manicaland Province is well known for its comparative and competitive advantage in many areas. In the area of agriculture, we boast of having all the five natural ecological regions, and that enables us to carry out diverse agriculture activities ranging from horticulture, timber, livestock, sugarcane production, among others. We are also the diamond province of the country, producing the bulk of the diamonds that are being sold to the globe. And in addition to that, Manicaland is a renowned tourist destination. If we talk about the Eastern Highlands, Nyanga, Chipinge, and those are areas which are known globally. Mm-hmm. And we have the second biggest population in the country. If we are being compared to rural provinces, with the biggest population in the country, more than 2.5 million people are found in Manicaland. But as we speak, we are expecting that number has grown since the last population census. That big population is an advantage in terms of promoting the domestic economy.
Let's now maybe dig deep into some of the issues that are taking place. From an economic point of view, I know that industry has been one of the main areas that you've been trying to resuscitate and drive. How has industrial growth been happening or going in the province?
Industry in Manicaland has been on a growth path for the past 5 years. We've seen new industries emerging. We've seen old industries expanding and reinvesting and retooling. And we've seen a lot of investment coming through across the province. Mm-hmm. We may want to note that Manicaland is very diverse mm-hmm. in terms of our agriculture. Mm-hmm. And we are using the major raw materials which are coming from our land to support our industry. In the Eastern Highlands, we have tea and coffee. And we are the biggest producers of soft timber in the country.
What is that translated to in terms of economic growth, economic performance, employment, some of those key metrics?
We have seen a lot of jobs being created. When we are looking at the agro value chain in the timber subsector, a lot of companies have been investing in improving their plants, in diversifying their products, and that has seen a lot of young people being employed. In the tea and coffee subsector, we are putting a lot of effort in reviving the coffee subsector. You may remember that our coffee industry was producing around 16,000 metric tons, but that production had fallen to less than 500 tons by 2015. But we are working with the coffee producers, our farmers, and other players in the industry to revive that industry.
What's very exciting from what you're mentioning, and certainly what we know about Manicaland Province, a lot of these produce and things that are then being processed are destined for export markets. So you're also generating a lot of export revenue in that province.
Indeed, and we have an advantage in that area in that we are the gateway to the globe. Most of the exports have to come through Mutare, Manicaland, on their way to Beira and the world. So we've seen companies coming to invest in Mutare, which investments are producing goods for export. And that trajectory, we continue to support it.
Mm-hmm. Specifically focusing on this issue of investment promotion, what are some of the incentives or some of the attractions that you have that could bring investors to your province and not the other ones, because you're competing with all the other provinces in the nation?
The major advantage that we have is that, of course, we are the closest province to the sea. No one can compete with us in that respect. And our local authorities are providing land at a discounted rate, particularly in the city of Mutare. We are also giving tax holidays to new investors, and with a particular bias to local investors, our diaspora, whom we are seeing beginning to respond positively.
We know that all the provinces have been making a pitch internationally, and particularly to the diaspora investors that you've just mentioned. When you have gone out there, what is the response? What are Zimbabweans in the diaspora saying? Do they want to come to your province? What is it? What opportunities are they seeking?
Indeed, a lot of our colleagues in the diaspora are very eager to come to Manicaland. And for us, the major focus has been to lure people to come and invest in establishment of education infrastructure, in new schools, in new health centers. Some are coming in to invest in energy producing facilities. Because of our geography, the mountainous geography, and the high rainfall that is associated with Manicaland, we have a very good advantage in terms of mini hydro, the development of mini hydro power stations. We have seen in the last 5 years development of more than 6 hydropower plants in Tasa and Nyanga. And new investors are also keen to come and invest in development of power plants, solar power plants.
So power, I would imagine, is no longer an issue in the province or in certain parts of these provinces because of these independent power projects.
Sure. In areas such as Mtasa and Nyanga, the challenge of power cuts are now a thing of the past. They are enjoying uninterrupted power supply because of the surplus power which they're generating from those areas.
Mr. Maronge, we need to take a short break. We're going to come back and continue this discussion as we focus on developments taking place in your province, which is Manicaland province. This is Economic Forum. My name is Farai Mwakutuya. Stay with me. I'll be back to continue the discussion. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Mr. Abiot Maronge, Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Manicaland Province, is my guest on Economic Forum today. Mr. Maronge, before we went to the break, you were citing some of the big industrial projects, some of the big businesses that are operating in your province that have retooled, revived, scaled up operations. Apart from those businesses themselves, what has been the impact, the value, the benefit to the residents and people of Manicaland province? What difference has this made?
What is important to emphasize is that most of our industries are anchored on the production of primary goods which is taking place in the province. It could be horticulture, it could be sugarcane, it could be timber, among others. And we are very happy that our farmers are getting a ready market. And if we are talking about bananas, for example, Manicaland is well known for production of bananas, avocados, and that is being done by our people primarily in the communal areas, in the rural areas. And these bananas and avocados are now finding a ready market in some of the emerging industries which are processing bananas into finished products, avocado into products for export. So that is fueling and promoting production of raw materials by our farmers. And when that happens, then they get income.
Let's zero in on two of those particular products that you've mentioned, timber in particular, I know that is, a mainstay and one of the crown jewels of Manicaland province. How is that performing?
The timber sector, I've earlier on indicated that we are the major producer of soft timber in the country. If not the only producer of soft timber in the country. It's because of our geography, our high rainfall, our mountainous environment. And that has seen production of several goods which are not just meant for the local market but also for export. Some of our companies are producing structural timber, doors, poles, among other products. With those products, such as the doors and the structural timber, those are supporting the housing industry across the country. So we are playing a key role in promoting house delivery, not just in the province but across the country. And our companies have endured some difficult times in the past, which saw production levels falling. But I'm happy to say that most of those have now taken steps to improve productivity. And capacity utilization of their sawmills and plants has risen from less than 40% 5 years ago to the current 60 to 70%.
Looking at the issue of service provision and how it translates to the ordinary citizens of Manicaland province, we know that in terms of service delivery, you have consistently ranked highly. And if I'm not mistaken, you are the reigning champion province, if that's the correct term, just in terms of service delivery. Could you tell us how you've been able to do this and what it is that you actually are doing?
Promotion of service delivery remains key to our work, not just in the office of the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, but across the entirety of our government machinery. In the city of Mutare, for example, we've seen a lot of work being done to ensure that we supply clean water and do so consistently throughout the year. The city of Mutare remains at the top in terms of that area, particularly the area of water supply, maintaining a clean environment, maintenance of roads, and that has meant a lot in terms of promoting the growth of our businesses across the province.
Looking at other service deliveries, just now social services, things like education, healthcare. I know you did mention earlier that one of the areas you're attracting diaspora investment is into schools, into education, into hospitals. Could you tell us the achievements that have been attained during the first part of this year?
In the area of health and education, the province has scored tremendous achievements. What is critical to note is that we are not just relying on funds which are coming from government, but we've been successful in attracting the private sector to invest in the development of new schools. Since January, we've seen more than 10 state-of-the-art schools being established across the country. We've also seen individuals, some who are coming from the diaspora and some who are based in the province, investing in development of our private health centers, particularly in the city of Mutare and Rusape and other urban centers in the province. And that has done a lot in terms of improving health delivery, improving education delivery for the benefit of our communities.
Indeed. Time to take another short break, but we will continue this discussion. It is Economic Forum. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Economic Forum continues. Now, Secretary, you obviously have highlighted provision of services and how that has enhanced service delivery and improved things particularly at an urban level, but you also did mention that you've got one of the highest populations in terms of rural populations compared to other provinces. How are you ensuring that this development is inclusive and that no one is being left behind?
Indeed, in line with His Excellency the President, Dr. Edim Mnangagwa's mantra that no person or no place should be left behind. We are deliberately working towards investing in development of development and modernization and expansion of social infrastructure in rural areas, with a particular bias for settlement areas, which until recently were in dire need of schools, health centers, deep tanks. So we are working with our local authorities under the devolution program to ensure that they mobilize resources, or they direct the resources that they are getting from government deliberately to those areas which used to be disadvantaged.
Closely linked to that is the issue of digital economy, because it does enable some of these services to be delivered to those remote areas and people to access services without having perhaps to come into the provincial capital. Could you tell us about the digital economy and how you are rolling out these digital initiatives, ensuring that people have access?
There is a lot of work being done to promote the digital economy. Government is working with the private sector to ensure that new base stations are established. And in the first quarter alone, 15 base stations were established across the province. The base stations in particular are ensuring that our rural communities in particular have access to quality communication. Through the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, the government has made tremendous progress in terms of extending the modern communication facilities to rural schools, where we've seen more than 300 schools being connected to the internet. In the area of health, clinics have not been left behind, and that is contributes significantly in terms of improvement of service delivery, particularly in rural areas.
Indeed. Earlier in the program, you talked about Manicaland having the competitive, uncomparable advantage of being a gateway to the sea. Let's talk a bit about infrastructure, particularly in the areas of being that gateway. What are the developments taking place there to modernize and make things even better?
As a province, we want to thank His Excellency the President, Dr. Edim Mnangagwa, for approving establishment of a new international airport in Mutare. We've also seen the Second Republic approving a project to expand, modernize Forbes border post, so that it has the capacity to accommodate and facilitate efficient movement of goods across the border. And as we speak, some preparatory work has already started in the area of modernization of Forbes border post. The number of trucks which pass through the border on a daily basis have increased tremendously. They average around 1,000 on a daily basis. And to us, whilst we've had episodes of congestion at the border, pending the modernization and the expansion of the border that I've referred to, we don't see the growing number of trucks as a disadvantage. It's an advantage, and our business people are exploiting that situation by investing in development of truck stops. Beyond just expansion and modernization of the Forbes border post, we are also working towards a commencement of works to establish the new international Mutare International Airport, which will play a key role in promoting not just movement of goods and services, our horticulture produce from Manicaland to global markets, but it will also promote tourism, because, as you know, Manicaland is a huge tourism destination. The tourism sector has been growing. We've seen numbers of tourists visiting our sites increasing, but we expect that that growth will treble once the international airport becomes functional, because we know that accessibility will be enhanced, and that will be a huge plus in promoting tourism in the province.
Secretary, you spoke about the modernization of the border post, and obviously that will facilitate trade, movement. Could you also tell us about how you are planning or what you are doing to try and increase the synergies or benefit from the synergies between yourselves in Manicaland and your counterparts across the border?
That is a very important area to us as Manicaland. We want to ensure that we play an important role in the revival of the Beira corridor. As a province, we want to ride on the excellent relations between Zimbabwe and Mozambique to strengthen economic integration, economic cooperation between Manicaland and our sister province, namely Manica and Sofala province. Mm-hmm. To that end, we are reviving our twinning agreement with Manica province. We are also working on a new twinning agreement with Sofala province, which encompasses Beira. And we are also targeting deliberately the diaspora community, Zimbabweans who are based in Manica and Beira, to motivate them to come and invest back in Manicaland. And we're already seeing very promising developments in that regard. We are very hopeful that a lot of benefits will accrue from strengthened relations between Manicaland and provinces, the two provinces in Mozambique.
Mr. Maronge, we're almost out of time, but I must ask you to talk about higher and tertiary education. The state university that is on the ground, how is that how is that relevant to developments taking place in your province?
In line with the 5.0 education philosophy, as introduced by His Excellency the President Dr. Edin Nangagwa, we are working closely with our universities, particularly the Manicaland State University and other tertiary institutions, to ensure that the universities play a key role in facilitating development in the province.
So they are actually not just being theoretical; they're actually getting practical, hands-on skills. These students coming out of these institutions.
Indeed, the students that we see in our universities, in our polytechnic, in our vocational training centers, focusing a lot more on practical issues, and working with government, working with the private sector to solve developmental challenges that we see as being a priority.
Mr. Marongo, we must end the discussion here. We're out of time, but there's still a lot more that we would have wanted to touch on. It means that we must invite you again to Economic Forum to share more about the developments taking place in your province.
It will be a pleasure to continue to come and discuss matters which are critical for our communities in Manicaland province.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That is Mr. Abiot Maronge. He's the Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Manicaland province. He's been our guest today on Economic Forum, which has come to an end, but you can continue to engage with us on our various social media and digital platforms. Our handles and the different platforms are on your screens right now. We do encourage you to engage with us. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, from me, Farai Makutia, and the rest of the team from Economic Forum, it's bye for now.